Hey guys, it's Geeky Crossing here, and today I had a new villager move in, so I could show you some design ideas for a yard or garden design. So I did want her on my island, but I found someone else that I wanted first, and I took them instead. So I did go out and get Tia. Oh my goodness, Diana's around. I love you, Diana. Hello. So I did go and get Tia. So I'll be trying to think of a few ideas for a yard for her that will suit her aesthetic and her personality. So I'm going to go down to my house and then pick out some different items, and then we'll go around the island, dig out some flowers, and then maybe see about terraforming for a few of them as well. Okay, so yeah, I basically just started with, as I said, just laying some cliffs and terraforming this sort of area. I've seen quite a few people kind of make little kind of cut off sections for their villages, so they get like a really big kind of area that's like all just their kind of personalized bit. So I wanted to kind of start with that because I thought that was really sweet, and it kind of gave me a base to work on and section the area off a bit for me, which I always find is really useful when building an area, is kind of like set like the outlines and work from that. I know that seems like a really obvious thing, but like especially for like villager gardens and that, it can seem really daunting when you've got this big flat space and there's loads of it. So I find it really useful to do this, and then if you need more area, you just kind of, well, take some more. But for this, obviously, I did have a limited area between two other areas. So yeah, so I just started off with this to kind of block it off from everywhere else. And yeah, oh, look at Mary chasing a butterfly. She's so cute. Yeah, so I just kind of then rounded the edges off because I don't like hard edges, and I don't know anyone that does currently, actually. I think they're good in like obviously really like symmetrical or like geometrical sort of builds, but for the most part, like, I like rounded cliff edges. Like, they just make it look more natural, obviously. So yeah, and I rounded off the terracotta path here. I just tried to use mostly a lot of in-game paths. There are a few places where I use custom codes, and I will link them. Well, I'll put them into the description below. Here I've just used a mix of stone and the arch stone pathways to kind of add a bit of variety. You see me fumbling up all the time, putting them in the wrong places. Yeah, I do this quite a lot on my island because I think it looks really cute, and it makes the paths appear up on the map, compared to obviously the custom paths which don't, and I really do like it when the paths come up on the map. So I've used this a lot throughout my island, and I just kind of did that to join it onto the other area. So I'm kind of just playing around with planting some trees and flowers here, and then I've started placing furniture. I chose this because I thought it would go with the terracotta, but I did end up changing it later. Well, I just customized it to the white later on, because I just thought it fit the area better once I started putting some more things around. Yeah, so I've just kind of gone with the Tia tea theme, and blue and white, so it's quite basic, and I've kind of kept it reasonably on that theme throughout all of them, but obviously in different styles. There's like some more city core sort of styles coming up, and I've got fairy core and like more cottage core-y sort of themes, because I wanted to do it in all different aesthetics that would fit different islands no matter kind of what your theme is. So I basically just grabbed like a pile of blue and white items from my inventory and played around with them until I thought it looked good, really. I chose like a different sort of variety of items for each one, but there are some repeated items throughout a lot of the builds, and they're just used in different ways to kind of create an entirely different look. And that stall design is actually just one of the ones from the Able Sisters. I don't have many custom designs slots available, so I just used the ones that I had here. So I didn't go and get any more for this build because I didn't have any left. Because when I first started, I didn't realize how many I would actually end up using. So I used loads, and then they were all over my island. And yeah, so I think on my next island I'd be a bit more organized with my custom design slots. And I really do want to make some myself. I know I say this a lot, but I do intend to. I know how much work will go into it, and I can art, like I can do the art, but can I do it in pixel form? I feel like I'd have a much easier time spending 40 hours making like a really realistic like Animal Crossing drawing and drawing my entire island, and I feel like I would have more success with that than doing like one custom code for some flowers. But I will get there eventually. Yeah, so I'm just kind of running around and planting different items and moving them around until, as I said, it looks good. I've used kind of the blue and white hyacinths quite a lot for Tia's garden because I think they're really cute, and I think they're probably my favorite flowers. I think my least favorite are the roses or the cosmos, but I don't really like mums either, but I feel like I use them a little bit more regularly. I think the only reason I didn't like the mums is because they were just the ones that came with my island, so I got really sick of them at the beginning before I got more flowers in. Yeah, so as you see, I've obviously changed that to white, and again, just playing around with those items on the table. There's not really much more to say about what I'm doing. Like, I am just kind of throwing objects around until it looks as cute as it can look. Hi Tia, you're so cute. She is really, really cute. As I said in the kind of intro bit, I did really want her on my island, but I can't remember who it was, but I found one of my other villagers first on a Nook Mile ticket, and I couldn't pass them up, so Tia didn't end up making it. And then by the time that I was kind of further on, I had so many of the same personality types that I kind of felt like I needed to mix it up, because obviously this is my first time playing Animal Crossing, so I haven't got to experience a lot of the personality types yet. Although I do not have any jocks on my island, I seem to only ever get jocks moving into my island, so I kind of got sick of them. And to be honest, like, I try and be a reasonably active person, like I love roller skating and stuff, but I don't want to listen to someone talking about working out all day. So I think, like, I don't know, like I think if I did a kid core island, I'd probably get more jocks in. But I don't know, I'll just have to see. I think for my next island though, I want to do sort of like a really sort of like old style Japanese Studio Ghibli inspired sort of island. Really serene and sweet, and probably a bit more like symmetrical than like my current sort of very cool cottagecore style. Yeah, so here I've just used things like the garden wagon, the bird cage in blue, the dollhouse in blue, and then a lot of the lattice fencing because I quite liked it, the blue lawnmower, the cream and sugar tea set, and back over there was also the Lily record player, I think it is, or the Lily music player, and then the cute workbench in blue at the back. And I also got the blue Mama's bear in my Nook's cranny, and I thought it would look super cute here, so that's just in front of the bird cage. Yeah, so that's kind of this build. I hope you liked it. Yeah, I think this was really cute. And so we'll be moving on to the second one now. So I did have some problems with recording the first bit, and I didn't realize, so I had already built the farm by the time I got the recording done. So, but I do go in and make some changes later. So again, I've just used the lattice farm and some in-game dirt paths in different colors for the flower garden. And I'm now just adding some of those custom designs that I was using on the last one here as well, putting them all around and inside the dirt path, because I think that looks really, really cute too when they're kind of set inside the in-game paths. So again, I'm just kind of, this one's a bit of a shorter one. I'm kind of just running around, and the rain kind of inspired me, and I added in some ducks and waters, more water themed items. I really wanted to make this one quite sort of white and really kind of cute. Although I think anything in Animal Crossing is cute because it's the cutest game in the world. So I added in kind of all the wood I used, I think was birch, which I don't use anywhere on my island, so I had quite a lot of fun playing around with it here. Again, just white and blue flowers. There's the white rocking chair and the log stool. Just 'cause I wanted to make this one quite peaceful and do something that wasn't the sort of generic Tia must have a tea shop kind of design. Although that is really cute, hence why I've done that in a lot of my other ones here. So that's just the flimsy watering can just placed there. I kind of didn't like it just placed on the ground, so I tried to play around with that a bit. Mary was just watching me from above. Yeah, I kept this one quite simple. And then I just added kind of this pathway of these. I got two variants of it, these sort of logs. And these just kind of link up to that path near Mary's house. I really like these, and again, that'll be in the description. So just placing a couple more custom designs around and doing the kind of finishing touches. As I said, I wanted this one to be quite sort of simplistic, and obviously you could add loads more into this. I've placed the flimsy shovel in the back there, and then I started adding things like coconuts and saplings here to kind of mix it up with the flowers a bit more. Although looking at it now, I'm not sure if I kind of preferred it at the start, but yeah, I like both. So yeah, that's us kind of finished this one pretty much. The very last finishing touches. But yeah, so that was kind of the basis of that one. And then we're just going to move on to the third one now. So for this one, I wanted to go for a bit more of like a sort of fairy core or kind of like pink theme. So I've used this kind of custom path here. So I'll link this below. But obviously all of these you could use with like whatever paths you want, in whichever way you want. This is in no way like you've got to design it this way. Like obviously you can do whatever you want. This is just for inspiration. If you want to copy these exactly, you're absolutely free to, but if not, I kind of feel like I've left them quite open for people to kind of take their own kind of take on it. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing this for Tia's house because I do really like her. I think she's a great villager. I just unfortunately can only have 10, and yeah, so it was nice getting to see her on my island, even if it was only for a little bit. So again, I'm just placing these kind of clovers and flowers to kind of spice up the ground. And then I went in with the iron fencing, which I guess, like, I don't know if it really fits fairy core, but I thought it looked really cute, and it added in a bit more blue when there was a lot of pink going on, to kind of link a bit more back to Tia, which is why I've also used the blue cute tables instead of using the pink ones to match with the chairs. But I didn't have the blue cute chairs, and I could have traded for them, but I quite like the pink ones, and I thought it looked cute with the path, so I stuck with it. And then again, I'm just kind of reusing a lot of the items from the last few builds, like these plants, it's like the cypress plant in a blue pot or whatever it is. And then I used kind of the rounded corners of this path to create like little circle sort of bits, and then I ended up extending the area just a little bit. It gets a little bit more fairy core like later on, and then yeah, I just kind of placed these kind of round circles ish with square circles. This path wasn't like particularly, like, it didn't end up being circular, but I thought it looked quite nice anyway, and that kind of like links back to the path near Mary's house. And then I just covered the ground in custom designs because I'm obsessed and I just can't help myself. And yeah, just kind of kept placing little items around. I was really glad when my Nook's Cranny did the resident services, the little Nook Mile shopping. Oh, for goodness sake. I was really glad it came in white because that's definitely my favourite street lamp. Or it definitely worked for my island anyway. I mean, on my next island it probably won't work so well. Yeah, so I placed some of these statues around and I quite like the way they looked. And then I just kind of covered them in flowers because I love the flowers. I reused the same stole from no, it's not the same. I reused one of the blue and white stalls that I briefly put out earlier and put that here. Again, going with the kind of cafe theme for Tia, and I placed the blue tea set and the candle in glass holder in blue here. And then I made this sort of cute little design out the front with some Nova lights and some hyacinths, just to kind of bring it back a bit more fairy core. Destination signpost in white, and then I don't know what I was doing here. As you can see, I immediately realized it was a terrible idea, and I went with a signature bench instead. And then moved it around because I thought this was cuter. Yeah, so here are some kind of photogenic shots because I realized that I was an idiot and wasn't doing this enough in the other ones to give time to kind of look at the actual final thing. And then I changed a pile of things again. I think this one's kind of cute. I feel like the last one was a bit lacking, so I made this one a lot busier to make up for it. Yeah, again, mostly using the hyacinths because I think they look beautiful and they really suit this area as well. I think that's just the blue rotary phone and then the biotop planter in the kind of white and blue design. So I actually remembered to stop the island designer, take some photos and show you the actual final thing this time. So yeah, this is the final one for this area. I really like this one. This might be one of my favorites. I didn't put anything in the stall because I didn't feel like it was necessary. I'm mainly trying to just give you another idea for the layout and different items that do look cute in this area. Yeah, I'm pleased with this one. Unfortunately, Marshall's house was really getting in the way for taking photos in this bit, which was unfortunate, but obviously this was mainly built this is not my final kind of island because I've already completed it. I'm now just using it to kind of rotate villages in for these kind of build ideas. So yeah, going on to the next one now, and I kind of made it a bit more even on each side because I was kind of changing the style a bit for this one. So just starting out with the stone path again around here, and I'm just blocking off like a reasonable sized area, and this one is kind of like a bit more kind of city style, but again like super adaptable, and it kind of yeah, I feel like this would suit like a lot of islands because a lot of people have like quite blocked off villager gardens. So I've used the hedges here because I don't use them a lot and I think they're really cute. And I don't really fence any of my villager gardens off. They've kind of just got areas, so I had a lot of fun kind of playing around with ideas for Tia's house because it made me really kind of design it in a different way than I'm used to. So yeah, I kind of just expanded this a bit more until the hedges looked right when they were placed. So it did end up taking like a reasonable amount of room, but it's not big by any means. I'm so bad for underestimating how much space I'll need for a build. Yeah, so I started with the blue iron garden chair, which admittedly like looked a little bit more blue in the customization menu than it did once it was placed, and then more of the iron is it the iron garden furniture? I think so. And then that's just a utility pole placed back there because I kind of wanted to emphasize the sort of city vibe. But again, you know, you could alter a couple of the items in this and, you know, give it an entirely different vibe to what it has. That's the Monstera plant that I've just put there as well, and that's in a blue pot. And then the blue garbage can and the phone box. And then I sort of created like a little sort of couple of flower patches out the front here, and then just blocked that off with the archstone path, and I just kind of played around with paths a little bit here. It wasn't totally even, but it doesn't bother me. Like I'm not too bothered about things being totally even. Obviously you could easily just do that so it was even. But for me, I kind of prefer a more kind of not natural, because obviously it's still like little squares, but like a less symmetrical kind of style to anything. So yeah, that's this one kind of finished. I was really pleased with how it turned out. Yeah, I probably would do something similar to this in my next one, because I'm gonna have a sort of city vibe, and I might have some areas where they get little gardens where it's just a little bit of pavement, and they get to kind of jazz it up in their own way to show off their own personality. So yeah, I've just used a little tea set here. Again, this is really simple. Like I've not used barely any items, but I think it worked out like really pretty and quite aesthetic, and would look good in a lot of builds, or a very similar version anyway. Yes, I do think I always use the same filter for taking photos. Yeah, so I'm just kind of quickly jumping into the next one here. I kept the flowers there for the only reason of I didn't have inventory space when I think I started. Yeah, so I'm kind of using a different fence, just to kind of look at different things that would suit it. And then this one I've gone with like full city core vibe. This is the last idea that I've got for Tia's house, but if you wanted to see more, I would happily do like a Tia part 2, but I plan on doing some different villages first before I start doing any repeats. So yeah, this is just the iron and stone fence, and I've barely used any fencing on my island, and the ones that I have, it's all been the natural fences. So as I said, like I really have enjoyed this. So as you can see, I'm immediately using like a lot more sort of city core style items, and then keeping in with this kind of small garden, but not really a garden because there's no grass. And then I did like a little area kind of outside the house, well, like outside of the garden, just planting my spare flowers here so I can come up and grab them and not have them just filling up my inventory. Yes, I did just rob a snack machine from that area. I'll put it back when I'm done, it's fine. Yeah, so I just took away all those pretty flowers and shoved in some stone instead, because that's what happens in the city. Yeah, so I mean, it's not like the perfect colors or anything like that, but this was just to give you an idea of, again, just the layout and different ways to use items and to use a big space or a small space or whatever suits your island and your style. So again, I've just used those same like furniture items from the last build and just placed them in a different direction. And then this all gets changed around anyway. I tried playing around with the electric guitar in like a teal color, and then I made this bit a bit bigger so I could have some more space to place like some little seats and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, like I do use a lot of the same items, just use them in different ways. So yeah, I ended up using these seats, and I kept with the rocket lamp to try and give it a kind of just a bit more sort of a modern vibe. And then I used some more colourful seats here, and again I'm just kind of playing around with items and putting them in the different positions until I think it looks good. So obviously this is all my personal opinion, and in no way am I like, you know, great at like designs in this game or anything, but I like it. Yeah, so I ended up building another bit here, just to kind of make it a bit more symmetrical. And I had quite a few items that I kind of wanted to incorporate, and I knew this was going to be my last one, so I was desperate to throw in this piano in one of them, and I was pleased that I managed to get it in at all. So, and also I kept seeing the retro gas pump in my inventory, and I had to go and figure something to do with that as well. And I couldn't seem to get it anywhere I liked, and yeah, in the end I ended up moving it again. So yeah, I'm playing around with this because I didn't want the two tall items to be in front of each other, so I tried to play around with the kind of sizes of things to kind of just make it a bit more interesting and to add layers into the heights. And then eventually I moved the retro gas pump so it was over this side in Tia's garden, and that's sort of the same colour as the guitar, so I think that matches quite well. And then I just did a bit more paving to kind of tie every element in together a bit more. And again, I'm just using the normal stone path so it doesn't connect with the arch stone sections to the side. And then I decided that there just weren't enough flowers and I needed to go and get some hyacinths. So again, just using the blue and white ones, and I made this one quite symmetrical. So I was quite pleased with how this turned out. And yeah, here are some more sort of photogenic shots of this build. I really liked this one. Like, I've not done any sort of city core kind of areas on my island other than, I don't know, maybe my diner, which is kind of the closest thing. So I really enjoyed this, and I loved the, like, still getting all the bits of green and kind of nature, but still having that sort of very paved, more modern feel to it. I actually really like the utility poles, and I think they look really cute, and I definitely will be using like 1,000,000 of them in my next island. But yeah, so this is just how I quite like the way this turned out. I like the colors, and yeah, also flowers are a really easy way of like tying color schemes together if you just kind of dot the colors that you want around, and I think it works really well. Yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and let me know if there are any villages you'd like to see me do, or any styles that you feel like I need to be covering more or anything like that. So if you did like it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you!